This is Life Lessons Lounge, and I'm Igina Gerazi. Here, we explore diverse life stories and the wisdom they hold. Let's delve into the stories that shape us, teach us, and connect us all. I'm very, very happy you're here. I'm so looking forward for everyone to know your beautiful story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
I know a little bit about you, and I still don't know the whole story, and that's what I'm really looking forward to hear. And I know that you are an educator, a mentor, a coach, a facilitator. You're a singer and an actress as well, which I'm also very much looking forward to hear more about. And you're also an American based in Prague. How amazing is that?
Well, it started when I was a little girl in Philadelphia, and I was in fifth grade, and we read the story of Maya Angelou, and that was what inspired me. She was absolutely a Renaissance woman, a poet, a dancer, a singer, an actress, an activist. And so I got in my mind from that example that I could be multifaceted. And that's what one did. And that's what one does. And that's what I set out to do. So in 1994, I left the United States and I got a Fulbright fellowship. So that's how I got into education. And I was teaching in Seoul, South Korea. And then I made my way in 1998 to the Czech Republic and I started getting acting roles. I was here for less than a month and I did my first play because I did my minor in theater after, along with studying journalism and women's studies and French. And so why not arrive to this new country and start performing on stage? So I was teaching by day at a language school, acting in the rehearsals, and then my first play when I was here, and then doing plays, got into commercials and movies. And then I was at a club in town listening to some blues. And the guy said, "Are you a singer?" And I said, "Okay." I grew up singing in
Just like that?
exactly. I grew up singing in church, so why not give it a chance to be a front woman? And I was singing as a backup singer and then as a front woman. And now this year, I counted it. I celebrate 25 years as a front woman singing blues. So I have gotten more and more opportunities, and I've said yes when they came. And now I've been very blessed to have a multifaceted life.
It sounds so amazing because I noticed as well. It's like you were there at the right time, at the right moment, and saying yes to the opportunities. And so, like, life has unfolded.
Yeah, exactly
Right?
that. So I went from teaching in a language school to again teaching at the university. I first started teaching at Seoul National University in 95. And then after some years of being here, I started teaching at the University of New York in Prague in 2007. And I was teaching one class and another. And then I was doing corporate training as well. And my colleagues at the corporate training organization said, people want to be supported beyond a 2-day intervention. Would you please get your coaching certificate? So I did that in 2012. And so when people need support after the full-time degree and after the 2-day training and they want ongoing support for 1 month, half a year, then I can come in as a coach. And now I'm actually teaching on MBA programs across Europe, coaching and mentoring. And so it's very, very different. I always get asked, which one would I give up? If I'm singing, I'm with 500 people for one night. If I'm teaching, I'm with 20, 25 people for 15 weeks. If I'm in a corporate setting, then it's for 1 or 2 days, a group of 12 to 25 people. So they have very different rewards because the interaction is very, very different.
Yes, it's different. And at the same time, I assume that support each other as well, or at least they have made you who you are to shine in all areas, right?
Yeah. And that's something that I wasn't aware of. It's something that people make me aware of. So, for example, when I am doing corporate training, people are very interested in the aspect of me that's the singer and the actress, because unbeknownst to me, there's just this energy that I bring and this presence that's a little bit different than other trainers. And it's very important to me because my field is communication, starting with journalism. And then when I did my master's, it was in professional and business communication. I always talk with my students about Aristotle, and it was always that we speak to entertain, to inform, and to persuade. And my philosophy is, if I can't catch your attention, then how can I inform you? And if I don't inform you, why should you be persuaded? So I think they really all go hand in hand.
Yes, absolutely. How was it to be an American in Prague?
Uh,
How was life like then, especially at the beginning?
Hmm. Well, I came in 1998, and there were many, many Americans who came in the early 90s, right after the Velvet Revolution. So there was a time where it was said there were 10,000 Americans. So it was certainly easier for me to adapt than when I moved to Seoul, South Korea in 1994. There were conveniences, such as something as simple as cheese. That was, or peanut butter. That was something in Seoul in 1994. I had to make big treks to find. And I always come to this conclusion, it's very contextual. So, coming from Seoul, South Korea, in Asia, my perception of the Czech Republic in Prague is very different than someone who just came straight from Philadelphia, like I, from which I originally come. So, it's very much colored by that. And so I didn't find anything unusual. I came to have an experience different from what I grew up with, different from what I had just experienced for 4 years traveling throughout Korea and Asia, Southeast Asia, and Australia. So it's certainly fulfilled. And when I came, I was very mindful that it was actually the 10th largest industrial country before the Nazis rolled in. And so I was just expecting that to happen again in terms of it establishing itself economically very shortly after the Velvet Revolution occurred. And I just wanted to be positioned for that.
And how are you feeling now there?
Oh my goodness, it's really fascinating how things have taken off. Quality of life is so much more advanced than it was when I came here. Of course, it's now 26 years ago. We joined the EU, and all of the investments and grants and funding that have brought an even greater quality of life. I remember around the corner from where I was rehearsing my first year, there was a parking lot, and then there was construction, but it was construction to create a square where people could sit with public art. And I just felt that was so reinforcing for the mind and the soul. And as an American, that they would take away commercial space where they could make profit to create a more beautiful shared living space really touched me deeply, particularly because I was coming from Seoul, and it's a peninsula. Seoul is the capital. So everyone's trying to get there. So space is such a premium, so that the free space they had will be used to beautify. That's just an example of the value that I find of living in Prague, and how it's consistently gotten a much more livable city. They're really focused on being a sustainable city, having walking space, connecting it. So I feel like it's a dream come true that the place that I moved to with so much potential is really fulfilling its potential nationally, internationally, within Europe.
How amazing. And what about you personally? Where do you feel home in terms of you have been abroad 30 years, right, outside of US?
For me, home really is Prague, the Czech Republic. I came here when I was 26. And so I've lived half my life in the Czech Republic. I'm in my flat right now. This is my home as an adult, where I created this space for myself. I have the friends and the connections and the community that I've crafted. I haven't inherited these as a part of being with my family. So this is a life that I've sculpted for myself. So this is my home that I've created for myself.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, having moved, you said 26 when you moved from US, right? So, how has all these moves shaped you as a person?
Well, it's actually interesting. I got my degree in January and I left in July. So that's 1994. So it's actually 30 years that I've been abroad. And I actually left shortly before my 22nd birthday. So going to Seoul, South Korea as a baby adult and experiencing that culture and then coming to Europe by moving, I realized I actually don't like moving. I don't like picking up roots. I don't like starting all over again. I don't like
Mm,
creating friends and community and connection. So I found that I would like to grow where I'm planted. And that's one of the things that has kept me in Prague. It's called the heart of Europe, and for that
mm.
reason, it's very easy for me to go on vacation back to Asia or to see my family in the United States or discover Scandinavia or even travel south to Africa. So I feel like it's a good anchor for me. I always say that I'm based in Prague, but I'm very happy, for example, doing international music festivals or even as we met, going abroad to teach at an MBA program. So it gives me opportunities to interact with other cultures from the comfort of my own home continent now.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We met, it's funny enough, we met at the airport in Tirana,
Mhm.
Albania,
Mm.
in the bus.
Yes.
It was so lovely. And that's where it struck me as well, you how warm, how light, how playful, how approaching you are as a person. And we connected there.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing how life connects people?
absolutely. And I think we just have to be open and ready. And like I said, say yes when the opportunity comes, but to also know for what I'm looking for the positive. I'm looking for things that make me feel grateful. And so one of my strengths is gratitude. So when I see something or someone that makes me go, ah, yes, this aligns with my values, then I just want to lean into that with curiosity, which is another one of my strengths, and bravery.
That's amazing. So, what are some of the hardest decisions that you have to take during your life?
Oh my goodness. Hardest decisions. Hardest decisions. I don't really feel that they were hard decisions. The decisions were hard because I had insufficient data or information. If I just take the time to sit and be quiet and ask myself what's important in my life, what are my priorities, what do I need? What is negotiable? Then the priorities are clear for me. So, for example, leaving the United States, I had always wanted to live abroad, and I got the opportunity with the Fulbright. I went for it. So, all right, let me do that. The idea to move from Seoul, South Korea to the Czech Republic. I had been there for 3 years. I wanted to try something new until I figured out what that was. It took me another 4 years. I was ready to go. Then moving here and deciding I don't want to move anymore. I'm looking at what I have, how it aligns with what I want, and saying, let me follow my bliss. Let me follow my joy. Let me go after what I want. So I transitioned from being in a language school to being in destination management, going from being a project manager to being the managing director with the company that I was with, and going, this has fulfilled its purpose. I know what this is like. I'm very happy to have worked in with meetings, incentives, congresses, events, but I'm missing something. I need more. Let me find out what that is. And being a part of that light going on for people and having an aha moment and getting it, as much as I enjoy business, I love helping people learn and having that connection. So, how do I combine a love of learning with business. And that's when it got into the field of education plus coaching plus training plus mentoring. And every time my heart gets happy and joyous, I follow it. So, following my heart with the joy while being very grounded about making sure that I have what's necessary in life, that's been my combination for deciding what should I do. And when I am practical in a way that honors my spirit, then the choice is really quite clear. And the road does rise to meet me. The road rises to meet me.
How beautiful is that? Because it really feels you're in full integrity with yourself. And it feels so fully grounded, and really that part of the listening, and also in terms of non-attachment part. Like, it has served me until here, it has fulfilled its purpose, and now I'm ready for the next. And following your joy, and as you said, following your heart, which is beautiful. You were mentioning coaching and education, and also how they all come together with the business. So, what do you enjoy about coaching?
I enjoy the process. And it's so interesting because, for example, I've seen it when I've coached country managers. I've seen it when I've coached people who are consultants in big four companies, whether they're engineers or lawyers. It's very interesting for me. It's the process that works. And with that being said, I when I have to share this craft, when I have to share this profession to my students, my MBA students who have had some experience with coaching, maybe it was titled coach, it was coaching based on what we teach, or it wasn't. There's the idea that because they're coming from a managerial business place, I have to have the answers and I need to tell them what to do. And to help them make the transition, it's not about my expertise as a professional, it's my expertise in the process of coaching. And it is the process of coaching that reveals the answers. I'm an expert in my field of communication and the other areas which you just discussed, but it's my knowledge of how to craft the coaching journey with the question that gets the goal, with the question that helps them explore the reality and the obstacles and what they're going to do, where they come to their own realization of what they will do to move themselves forward. And again, I thank you for the opportunity. I've just made the connection for myself. I offer to my clients that quiet space to listen to their hearts, to listen to their joy and their bliss, because their world is so hectic and they don't get a chance to listen. So, what helps me to figure out the path I want to take is a part of what I'm working to provide for them in that experience when we work together in coaching. So that's the joy of coaching, and to provide it to help people do better in their businesses, and that it's my business to help people do better in their business. It's such a virtuous cycle that is so rewarding.
Yes, yes, it is. As we say in coaching, I've said this before as well, it's like we can't take our clients where we ourselves cannot go, right? And you seem an embodiment of that process as well when you talk about coaching as a process, because I can see how well grounded, how in connection you are to take those decisions and to walk your path, which is amazing.
Thank you. I often make the analogy that I feel from my experience working with clients that it's like that Christmas snowball that has a seed, and then there are all these white pieces of snow, and in our day-to-day life it's all shook up, and the details of what's underneath cannot be seen until the snow settles and the water becomes clear. And then the client has a very clear vision for themselves of what was there all along. They just couldn't take the space in silence to organize their thoughts so that they had clarity and the drive that comes from that.
And again, how has coaching in a way changed you?
Oh, goodness. Yes, yes. One of the joys of teaching this process and using this process, because for me, I first come from give a man a fish, he'll eat for the day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever. So I'm very intentional in trying to do my practice in a very transparent way that my client knows what's going to come next. By knowing what's going to come next, that hopefully instills and imparts and transfers the process so that the person can work through the process without me, so that they can come to their own answers in the time between our sessions, so that when they come into our sessions, the type of questions and challenges get more rewarding because they're higher level order thinking patterns. For me to be able to give that to other people, I have to give it to myself. And so coaching has transformed me because for me, I have to walk my talk. I, number one, can't use my coaching to solve your problems to avoid my own. So I have to be connected and present. And for me to be connected and present, that means I need a way to resolve my issues, to be aware of my issues, work through my issues, and feel progress with my issues, that I'm not trying to solve you to solve me. I can be there at your service as you need in support of you because I can handle my own stuff and I can handle it with the same tools I give to you so that my questions and challenges that I have in my life are more higher order questions. And when my own coaching practice cannot help me, just like I would refer a client when I realize that their needs are outside of my area of competence, I also recognize when my coaching skills are outside of when my coaching needs or my needs are outside of my area of competence. And I go, okay, now it's time to get a second opinion from a trusted friend, a trusted colleague, my director, or okay, it's time for me to call my therapist because I know what it takes to coach. Okay, do I have the skills? Ooh, I don't have the skills. I should get some education. Okay. Oh, now that I have the education, do I have a plan? And then working through this with the models that I use for coaching. And then there's a question of, okay, with whom am I going to be accountable? Because that's also another valuable aspect of coaching. So, what I do for others, I try to do for myself. And when I'm not able to do it for myself, I can recognize who can help me go to another level.
And what advice would you have for new coaches
Mm,
that are just starting?
that's a great question. When I work with, for example, my MBA students, because they are new coaches and they're really enlightened and empowered by this transformation that they get from the experience, and they want to do it well, I would say the advice would be reflection. We don't get it right all the time, and we reflect to think about what we did well that we can be proud of, that we can know is a good thing in our toolkit. But then when we think, oh, I could have handled this differently, I should have handled this differently, we take time for ourselves to reflect, just like we give to other people to reflect. So as we are working to help someone else get better as our clients, we can be our own client and think, okay, this is what I did. I would like to do it differently or better. This is the next opportunity I'm going to take to get feedback on this to give. Because there's not only the client's purpose, but there's also our purpose as a coach. And our purpose is to help the client, but our for me, my purpose is to help the client better. So, how can I take the feedback from the previous client into another session to be a better coach the next time around? That's why it's a
Mm,
practice. So,
it
do it
is, it
as
is.
a
And you
practice.
become better and
Then,
better.
the second thing is the art of questioning. I really leaned into doing more coaching because I asked myself the question and following my heart and my bliss, what do I love doing? what am I good at? And I, after really sitting and searching my soul and going through the tools that I knew of, the through line in my life was questioning, from my undergraduate in journalism to so many other Socratic method as an instructor. I love asking questions. How can I work professionally with more questions? And it was coaching. And one of the big challenges that new coaches have is having a hunch, having a belief about what is, and then refraining from making a statement to figuring out how to turn it into a question, not a question that is a leading question or a closed question, but a question that is open ended and expresses curiosity to find out, is my hunch correct? But more importantly, what comes out of the depth of the client in response? So, learning how to take hands off, and it's not about my answer, but it's about the client's answer and how to provide the stimulus that will create the growth beyond what they could expect without the limitations of my own preconceived notions. How to get out of my way and the way of the client. Those would be the two big things that I would say to new coaches.
Yes, I so affirm the part of the curiosity that you said
Mm.
now. Developing that skill of curiosity and presence is so important for new coaches and every coach, actually,
Yes,
not just new coaches.
yes,
It's coming from curiosity rather than exactly letting go of all the judgment preconceptions that we have, assumptions and everything. Just being fully present
yes.
with the other.
And with that
And
comes for me amazement, because what comes out when I'm working with a client for a while and they're very familiar with the process, so they come into the session very, very prepared and aware of what they want to achieve and the reality around that, but still asking a question with a complete beginner's mindset, a complete white belt outsider perspective, because I'm not in their organizations, I don't know the background, and just asking questions, and how that stimulate something that they could not have come up with their own. I remain in awe of this process and what it can create, unbeknownst to either party.
that's the beauty of our job. That's what I love as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to take it a little bit broader in terms of looking at your whole life,
Yes.
as we talked about at the beginning. It's so multifaceted
Yes.
and it's so colorful
Mhm.
as well. And I love it. And maybe this is a deep question. What are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned throughout
Oh,
your life?
yes. Some of the biggest lessons I've learned is that it really comes down to sleep, nutrition,
Mm.
movement, breath. Those are the foundations. And if I skimp or cut on those things, I actually hamper my ability to show up in life with a full cup, to be present with my audience if I'm doing a show with the team of a multinational company who needs facilitation on teamwork and communication, or my undergraduates who are 17, 18 years old, living in a foreign country, studying in a foreign language in a foreign educational system. What are the foundations that I need so that I can serve those people, so that I feel that when I got out of bed in the morning, I made the world a better place? And in doing so, that it actually filled my cup and it didn't deplete my cup. What do I need to do to stay full so that I feel that I'm living according to my life's purpose, and that this path that's multifaceted, that it reflects my autonomy? This is my free choice. And as it is my free choice, and I keep looking again and again, am I doing the right thing? So many times it comes back, I am doing the right thing, but I need to do the right thing a better way. And so that's where this whole pursuit of mastery comes. Okay, how to do this thing better. And so the foundation, like I said, is sleeping, eating, moving, breathing. And then there is this great article about the 7 different types of rest that everyone needs. And am I connecting with people who give me those aha moments that I'm trying to provide for other people? And so it's just about being well balanced. Those are the things that are essential for me.
I love that part that you say you have to fill your own cup
Yeah.
before we can give to anyone. That's not just in the role as a coach, but even as a friend, as a parent, as a family member. So anything, you need to fill your own cup first. And I love that you mentioned.
And the more I want, the fuller I feel that I need to be to have something to give from. So it's very inspiring
Yeah.
for me. The more I want to give, the more I have to develop myself to be able to do that.
Joanna, is there anything that actually I haven't asked you that you would like to mention here?
Ooh. There is, well, for me, part of what we haven't talked about is songwriting. And because
Mm.
I sing, this is once again this virtuous cycle of I help people to achieve their dreams, whether it's academically or commercially, as an individual or as a professional. And then there's always this side of me that goes, what about my growth and development? Something for me aside from helping other people to develop. So, as a songwriter, it's very important for me to go into all that experience. So I filled myself, I filled other people, and then how do I articulate these beliefs and these experiences in ways that are worth repeating? And that's what a song is for me. The chorus is repeated 2, 3, 4 times, on and on. What do I believe in so much that I would make it the chorus? And then what do I believe in so much that it explains why the chorus exists? And I would want to sing this again and again and again and again. So, with a background in journalism and communication, it's just another type of, it's another form of communicating my beliefs and how I want to show up in the world and what I want to say in a way that doesn't necessarily have to be educational, but should be entertaining, should be persuasive in the idea of after the concert is over, there's something that remains. It isn't just in one ear and out the other, but there's something that has been touched. Yeah, there's something left
Mm.
behind. Yeah. So
Mm.
that's another element of the pie that we haven't talked
Yeah, but it's so amazing because it's like it's extra, it's the creativity
about.
now and the expression of that creativity,
Yes.
right? And how do you find inspiration? How do you get attuned to your creativity?
Yes, and I'm so glad you used the word attuned because that's really what it is. For me, I always have something playing in the back of my head, and I just need to stop and notice this is on repeat. Let me hear what it is. It might be song lyrics or it might be a melody, and I have to go, wait a minute, this is here, it's present. Maybe I should write this down. Maybe I should record this and let me play with it. And then I have to ask, what does this do to me? What does this feel like inside? What is resonating with me inside that this is on repeat? What do I need to get out of me? And it's so, thank you for this question because I just realized for me, a part of the coaching is so powerful because, like I said, people have these ideas in their head, but they never have the time to sit down and, as we talk about from psychology, create coherence, to create a coherent narrative where they put these ideas and words together. Sometimes when they journal, it's for themselves. When they talk with a therapist or a coach, it's for someone else. But the practice of creating grammar and vocabulary and putting it together helps people get a big picture. That's what songwriting is for me to sit down and to articulate this, for me to put these ideas together in a chorus and then as a verse to make them have literally rhyme and reason is I have now it's come to be. It is a therapeutic practice for me to listen to what's inside and then to align with that. And I like to say songs come to me and through me. And that's a very joyous place to be because all I have to do is just listen, record. And that was what I said in my TED talk. It's about listening, recording, repeating, and then revising. That's the process for songwriting for me.
You have a TED Talk. I didn't
I
know.
do,
What
yeah.
is it about?
It's so funny because
Tell me.
that's what I was explaining in the TED Talk. It comes to me and through me, and it's about listening, recording, repeating, and revising.
Oh, okay. We'll put a link to the TED Talk in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Is there anything else, Juwana?
The only thing, thank you for asking, and thank you for all the inspiration and connections that your questions and comments have created for me. The only thing I would say for the people listening in is for people to listen in, not just to us, but more importantly to themselves. That is the last thing. Listen to yourself.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think that's the idea with coaching is that we extract the answers from you, and those answers are only found in that presence with self, in the silence.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Juwana. It has been such an honor, and also to really witness your integrity, your joy, your bliss, your life, and you. So thank you so much for showing most of it here.
Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to again connect, not only with you, but also to your listeners and to share from places that I had forgotten about. And I hope that it enriches anyone who listens. And thank you for the opportunity to share a part of my life.
Thank you for being with us in the Life Lessons Lounge. Remember, every story has its wisdom. Join us next time for more insights and inspiration. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing your own story.